If your blood runs orange and blue, this is the pod for you. You're listening to Orange and Blue Bloods, hosted by EJ Stewart and Tommy Beer. Let's get to it.
It's definitely not impossible. But we are headed to All-Star Weekend. At the time of this recording, as we've mentioned multiple times, as our frustration rises as every minute goes by, Jalen Brunson not going to the All-Star game as we record. I don't know when Jalen Brunson has to make Jalen Brown has to make a decision whether he's gonna play or what the hell. And B keeps saying, "Well, I might not play. I don't know what's going on." So those guys are apparently injured, and it's unsure whether or not they're gonna play. But Brunson right now not going to Salt Lake City. Who is going to Salt Lake City? Plenty of Knicks representation. On Friday, Quentin Grimes will be in the NBA Rising Stars Challenge. He'll be playing on Team Joakim. For Team Joakim Noah, he's the coach of this team. They do a little 4-team tournament for the Rising Stars Challenge. I think last season was the first season they did. It was really good. It actually ratcheted up the intensity of that game, those games now, much more than it did before. So Quentin Grimes will be playing on Team Joakim, former Knick great. Some remember his very, very what do I say? Just unforgettable years as a Knick, where he was mostly in street clothes. He'll be playing alongside guys like Evan Mobley, Jabari Smith, Josh Giddey's also on that team. So plenty of other talented rookies and sophomores will be playing alongside Quentin Grimes. Then on Saturday, you'll have Jericho Sims taking flight in the slam dunk competition. He'll be up against Mac McClung, who's a G League player for the Sixers affiliate. Trey Murphy and Kenyon Martin Jr. will also be in that slam dunk contest. And just breaking, as we talked about earlier on this episode on Thursday, Julius Randle added to the three-point contest. He's replacing Trailblazers guard Anthony Simons. Julius Randle's he's made a lot of threes. He's top 10 in three-point made this year, but only shooting 34%. But he finds his way into the All-Star three-point shootout. So he'll be also participating during the Saturday festivities. And on Sunday, Julius Randle will play in the All-Star game. We do not know what team Julius will be playing on yet because they've changed the way the draft works now. As opposed to it happening a week before on TNT, it's not going to happen right before the game. So the players will be picked kind of like, gym class style or, class reset style where they'll just all line up, I guess at midcourt, and the LeBron James and Giannis Antetokounmpo will draft their players right there, and then they'll pick up basketball and play for 48 minutes or however long it's going to take. So they do also do the weird scoring at the end of the game in the fourth quarter. So some new wrinkles to All-Star Weekend, plenty of Knicks involved. First of all, what do you think of the late draft that's going to happen? Are you a fan of that?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never been unlike you. I know you're a resident All-Star fanatic.
Yes.
I've never been a huge All-Star game guy, and I don't get too into it. But I do like the wrinkle with the players being drafted right before then. One other note, just because it definitely could play a part. DeMar DeRozan didn't play Wednesday night.
Yes, he did.
The Bulls haven't listed their injury, haven't submitted their injury report for tonight's game, but he was diagnosed with an MRI on Tuesday, revealed a grade 1 thigh strain. He did not play Wednesday. We don't know if he'll play Thursday, and consequently, we don't know if he'll play Sunday. So those are two options that Brunson could sneak in as a reserve. I to your point, I don't know when the players have to declare one way or the other, when the league has to decide. I guess it could go to Saturday. I mean, I'm sure Brunson wouldn't mind hopping on a flight even Sunday morning or Saturday night or whatever the case might be, and running around the court for 5 minutes. He'd probably get 10 minutes off the bench. In the All-Star game. So we'll see how it plays itself out. And as we've said previously, him getting a few extra days of rest certainly wouldn't be the worst case scenario. And just because I mentioned rest, it's probably important to point out the Knicks have won. They won by 18 on Monday against the Nets, won by 21 last night. Randle played less than 34 minutes in both games, over his last 6 games at just 35.2 minutes. So the bench playing so well, and Hart, contributing, and the team, those 2 blowout victories has helped reduce Randle's minutes a little bit. That's something we'll keep an eye on over the second half of the season. As far as the All-Star game goes, yeah, I also find it funny that the Knicks are going to have a representative in the dunk contest, in the 3-point shootout, and now the rookie game with Grimes, and and Brunson, of the three players that are involved in all these All-Star festivities, Brunson's going to be watching on TV. Just doesn't sit well with me. Let's say.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And just for a reference, because I was thinking about this the last time the Knicks had an injury replacement, it was actually David Lee in 2010. He was replacing Allen Iverson in the All-Star game. He was announced, I think, on February 11th for a game that was then played on February 14th. So we're kind of right, so they could kind of move it pretty close. Like that's a pretty close number right there. Right. I kind of remember him kind of getting in late. I remember seeing old archival footage of that back in the day when he arrived, and KG and them kind of congratulated him, and KG and Paul Pierce being, Atlantic Division rivals. So I guess that today or tomorrow would probably be the days where you think that, something, a decision would have to be made about whether or not Brunson would join the team. Hopefully he'll get in. I think he will, because I think in some years when they were doing East and West, I think it was easier to just have a guy like go who's like injured and then like play 2 minutes and then just come out. Right. But like I think it's harder now that you're doing like an actual draft, because like if I'm drafting Jalen Brown, but I know he's a facial fracture and Boston told the head coach, hey, whoever picks him, he's only got to play 5 minutes. If I'm Team LeBron or Giannis, why would I do that? So I would want to have the most able-bodied people. So I would think that would mean that Jalen Brunson will probably get named maybe hours from now or maybe tomorrow, but who's to say? I really do like I'm kind of mixed on the draft thing because, again, I talk about kind of the weird things with the NBA All-Star game and like not knowing who your teammates are going to be right before you play. Like these teams normally, like they're coaches for each team. So typically they have like, 2 or 3 sets that they can like kind of go through, and they go through their rotations of who's going to play with each other. Like now it's going to be just like anarchy. Like they're going to get guys in their team, say, all right, go out there and play. Yep. And considering a lot of people complain about the lack of physicality, lack of defense, I kind of wonder if this kind of makes this more of like a clown show than maybe the NBA trying to get away from. The different rules with the scoring in the quarters and the scoring at the end of the game has definitely helped that. So maybe that won't matter as much. But that's the only thing I'm a little worried about a little bit, is that now there's really no organization with this game. Like there's a lot anyway. But
yeah, I would think it's very, very difficult to make it more of a clown show than it already was. A low bar to clear, I'd say. And one other thing, if you want to see New York City riot, have DeRozan or Brown get, say they can't go, and then Silver announce another guy to replace him. If he names Harden or somebody else, I would almost enjoy it just to see Knicks Twitter explode.
Yeah, I saw. Forgive me, I don't remember the beat writer for the Miami Heat, but they had noted that it's unclear what's going to happen with this time it was Embiid and Brown, but now we have DeRozan that's questionable as well. And he said, it opens the door for Tyler Hero. And I said to myself, if Tyler Hero makes the All-Star game ahead of Jalen Brunson, I actually may pull up to the league office in New York City. I live in New York. I may pull up to the league office, and they may need to get security to throw me out of there. Because I will be meeting with Adam Silver in his office being like, yo, what's good, fam? What is going on? Tyler Hero? Come on. Tyler Hero. It was funny because then like the next tweet from him was like, also Brunson and Harder also are options. Like this, he got enough people tweeting at him. What the hell? Like, are you serious, Tyler Hero? So if they pick anybody but Brunson, I do kind of wonder. There's a part of me that wonders at a certain point. I don't think this will happen, but is there a chance that Brunson really does have like plans to go to Cancun or Aruba? And he says, thanks but no thanks.
Or just out of spite, be like, nah, you guys waited to this long,
That's true too.
I'm sure Knicks fans might want him to keep that chip on his shoulder because we've talked about the numbers he's put up since the All-Star replacements.
Yeah. So I kind of wonder if there's a chance that he just doesn't go, not because they actually don't approach him, but eventually he's like, this is so late in the game, and you guys didn't pick me this whole time. I'm not going. I'm going to spend time with my fiance, who I may have to actually, spend time with after the whole Iggy Azalea situation.
That's what I'm saying. He may be on the hot seat already, so if he promised her a trip to Cancun, he's got to make sure he goes to Salt Lake City and not to Iggy's apartment somewhere, So
yeah, exactly. So that may be a wild card in this as well. I don't know what Jericho Sims is going to do in this dunk contest. Like, big guys always have a weird thing. I mean, Obi Toppin is the reigning champion in what was declared by many one of the worst dunk contests ever. I don't think that was his fault. I think he was okay. I think the rest of the guys didn't show up. But the Knicks have a chance to keep the dunk contest championship in New York. This is not a field that's going to inspire a lot of like, excitement, because a lot of these guys, one guy's in the G League, other guys are younger players, haven't necessarily established themselves. I always liked Trey Murphy, even back when he was at Virginia. So I don't really think of him as a dunker per se. I think he was more of a shooter. So I was kind of surprised when I saw he was in this. So I don't know. Like, I think his chances are pretty good, considering I would say KJ Martin probably be my favorite out of these guys, but we know Sims can fly. I mean, we know he has hops, and there was a picture posted a couple of days ago that there's an NBA slam dunk contest coach now. Like, I didn't know that was a thing, and they go around, and which is actually probably smart because we've seen so many catastrophes with these terrible dunks. They go around to these organizations and they work with the guys that are going to be in it. So that guy was at the Tarrytown Club Tarrytown, as Tibbs called it yesterday. When he asked where he's going to do for it, where he's going to go for the All-Star break, he said, I'm going to Club Tarrytown, which means he's going to be at the practice facility, just living in the film room. He was at Club Tarrytown, apparently with Jericho Sims working on stuff. So good luck to Jericho. I think he has a decent shot because I don't really feel like Murphy's really a dunker. McClung can jump, but he's small. So that always, comes the thing of like, you can dunk, but are you going to make these dunks? And then, KJ is tough. He that's a guy who legitimately has great hops. So, but I think Jericho Sims has a shot. It's just tough for big. It's always tough for big guys.
I just checked the odds, and they're very. Sims has the best odds, meaning you get the best return. He's plus 260, whereas and then Trey Murphy's plus 250, McClung plus 250, Kenyon Martin plus 240. The fact that they're so closely bunched, I like Martin is probably the safest bet, but I think Sims again. If he's working with a coach and if he's creative, the things that Sims is such a humble guy, such a soft spoken, despite his great athleticism, doesn't kind of have that flash and pizzazz. Really put on a cape, really do put on a flight suit or something weird, something funny, something to get the crowd hyped up. We know Kenyon Martin Jr. is going to do something. Mac McClung, has the white
Mac
dude.
McClung's he's been putting on shows since he was on Ball His Life. Mixtapes in when he was 16. So yeah, 100%. He's gonna be totally fine with this.
He'll have that novelty going for him. So there's but that being said, in terms of just pure athleticism, the combination of size and strength, they said on the broadcast last night, I didn't know that Dominique Wilkins was Sims' favorite a dunker from back in the day. So if he throws some two-handed windmills down and just some power like off the glass, Dominique Wilkins type dunks. I think he has a good chance to win because it's the tall, bigger guys have a tougher time. Legend, historically competing in this competition. Dwight Howard, I think, won it one year. Larry Nance, I think he won the first contest back in '84. But obviously in the past, it's the wings, the smaller guys, the Nate Robbins, and the kind of the Spud Webbs. It's fascinating to see a guy that's relatively small jump that high. So, but I wouldn't put it past Sims. I think he's definitely got a puncher's chance.
Yeah, Jericho's definitely got to show some energy, some life. He's a very, stone-faced dude. Like, so much of these dunks is not just about making the dunk. It's also the reaction afterwards.
Yes.
The build-up before. So, hopefully, Jericho puts his biggest, show the most emotion he's ever shown probably in his NBA career in this one. That will give him a good shot. I mean, I think he has a shot, like you said, because he can definitely fly. He's got to have the highest verticals, one of the highest verticals in the NBA. So, and we know he can finish. So, I think that he'll do well. I agree. I think I will be watching a lot of film of Dwight Howard, guy who had similar body type, similar profile. I think they're similar athletes. He would be a guy I would watch. I'd also watch Dominique Wilkins. I think he's a good one as well. And I'm hoping for a good show. When I think about like All-Star Weekend and Knicks memories, I think the biggest one is probably, Nate Robinson jumping over Spud Webb. Like that to me is like a All-Star Weekend memory that I could think of. I think Clyde won the MVP of the All-Star game in the 70s. I think we actually mentioned that on one of the podcasts or Willis Reed won in 70. Clyde won a couple years later. So they've had their share of MVPs. I don't know. I wouldn't give Randall Westbrook a shot to an MVP, but you never know.
The original Knicks banner meme, I think, was David Lee winning MVP of the rookies, whatever. I don't even know what they called it.
Yeah, he did. He did a rookie. He did. The rookie sophomore game. Yeah.
Yeah. Rookie sophomore challenge. He was MVP of that. So I don't know where that ranks, but I think that it lends to just more to the point of how the Knicks have lacked all-star caliber players for the better part of this millennium.
Yeah, let's hope that we can make some all-star memories. Quentin Grimes got a shot. Randall's got multiple cracks now.
Yep.
He could shock the world by winning this 3-point shootout. And of course, he has the all-star game, and Jericho Sims is dunk contest, so it should be fun for Knicks fans. Should be